Are you a human being? Are you also a Browns fan? Well, if you said yes to both of those things, then there's a good chance you're probably a little tired of our local Cleveland Brown sports media. Same old thing, day after day, night after night. It's time to hang the cleats up. It's time to pass the torch. If you're looking for something fun, something fresh, something where four people literally smack themselves in the face over and over with hot take after hot take, then my boys at Down with the Browns is where you want to be. It's just good for your soul. Available on Apple Podcast, YouTube, and Twitter. Getting down with the Browns.
And welcome back to another episode of Down with the Browns, baby.
Let's go! Let's go!
Christmas came early.
It did.
Came early this year.
After a major W versus the Ratbirds in their own crib, in front of their mamas, their wives, their children, their children's children, and all the inbred fans in Baltimore.
Poor La Margarita. What happened to La Margarita?
What happened?
Bro,
He was shaken but not stirred.
What a W, man. What a W. That was huge.
How about DW4 coming out in the second half, going 14 for 14, a $136 and a tutty.
Big second half.
Starting
and
out
hurt.
Yeah, and hurt. And he's still out there rushing. He's putting up the yards.
I was so proud of him on that run, right? Like Emmanuel Acho said it best on the show today. I saw a really good bit of him, or a clip of him kind of talking about it, naming all the quarterbacks that the Browns have: Baker Mayfield, your Jacoby Brissett's, your Jason Campbell's, RG3's. Like, no other quarterback that we've had is making that kind of play, making that kind of run at the end of the fourth quarter to get in the field goal range, making those kinds of throws on that drive. I mean, it finally felt good to be on the side of our quarterback carrying us on a final drive and doing something that's like, not like, any other quarterback could have done. Like, those are some real, he evaded some tackles, he evaded pressure. I mean, man, you can't replicate that. So it feels so good. It feels so good. And you can see he's getting his confidence back. You can see it. You can
getting
really
that swagger back.
Yep.
He's getting that swagger back. And I think, I think it's perfect timing, because he came back, had that great shutout win versus Arizona. And then, you're going into, and he said it, he wanted to have his first game not be against a divisional opponent. So he came back a little bit early versus Arizona, got that shutout win. And then all of a sudden, you have a comeback. I mean, what did they say during for the new millennium or something like that? I forget who tweeted it out, but it's only happened like twice that a team has been down for 51 minutes or something like that, and it came back at the end. 59 minutes.
And 57 seconds.
And then won. Yeah, you're right, because they won on the last 3 seconds of the field goal.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yes, MC, depth.
Yeah, the depth. Bro, how about the tackles just stepping up? I mean, there's some missed blocks,
right. Yeah, James Hudson got eaten up. He got eaten up a little bit.
He did.
Also, he got pushed back. We were calling his name a lot, right? He was a lot of penalties, a lot of things like that. He was doing the best he can. I was impressed with Jadeveon Clowney on defense. I was surprised to hear some of the stats on him.
He kind of ate. He
He was kind of eating, right? I mean, he was trying to do the best he possibly can, come back to the dog pound. And I didn't realize he was doing so well for them in Baltimore. So he was injured for a little bit play at the end there, but then came back. So I'm impressed with him. But James Hudson, the depth is pretty good, and that's a lot of credit to Bill Callahan, really. But at the same
for sure.
time, it's just James Hudson's got to do a little bit better. We can't have too much.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to give a little stat breakdown of the game, some offensive key pieces. Deshaun Watson, 20 for 34, 213 yards, a touchdown, an interception, sacked 4 times. Jerome Built Tough Ford.
Yes. Brought to you by Daystar Ford.
Exactly.
Ford.
The Daystar Ford. Player of the week.
Beautiful Garrettsville, Ohio.
17 carries, 107 yards, 6.3 yards per carry.
Big game. Yep.
I don't know about you guys, but going into this game, I ain't gonna lie. I was talking a little smack about him. I was like, I think we should either give Pierre Strong some more carries, give the RB1 to Kareem Hunt. I don't know. I don't want to see Jerome Ford running the ball as much, but he must have saw the tweets.
Yeah.
He must have saw them because that boy grabbed the rock and ran hard and found his holes.
Yep.
I think I was so impressed because he was running harder and harder. And even Kareem Hunt, I mean, for us to be such a good running football team, even after Nick Chubb going down, I mean, obviously it's a testament to this offensive line, but to keep it up and consistently, even when people were kind of doubting Jerome Ford, it feels like this was a nice little breakout game for him. Mm-hmm. I think this was a huge confidence builder, for him, obviously for the team, but especially for Jerome Ford. And you kind of need that going into Pittsburgh because you going into Pittsburgh week, you know what I mean? And it's great. You're back at home again as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what a way to get revenge is 2 back-to-back home games, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the future for sure. But I kind of wanted to talk about the defensive side of the ball really quick because I have a question. I mean, what the resiliency of the defense to not get down. I mean, sometimes you see, shout out to Jerome Ford. Yeah, I really agree. I was so wrong about Jerome Ford. I thought we needed.
Me too, man.
Elijah Moore tweeted out today, a couple of hours ago, that Michael Carter has been released by the Jets, and he kind of quote tweeted it and had the eyeball emoji for Michael Carter. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. You can't go wrong with running back depth, especially if you're going to be a playoff team. And it looks like the Browns. You're going to see the Browns sign some individuals down the stretch, especially if they beat Pittsburgh. Because no matter what, with the Bills lost last night, it doesn't matter. We don't move in playoff seeding. But if we beat Pittsburgh and, you see Miami lose and Baltimore lose, and, you know what I mean? You got a lot of people who are losing.
Hey, I don't mean
fifth to second or third in the AFC.
We're gonna. I don't want to be that ladder real quick.
I don't want to be whatever, but if we win and Baltimore loses, we slide up to that one spot.
Yeah, first place in the AFC North. First place in the AFC North, and not like a tie or anything, like comfortably. You know what I mean?
Like we're the tiebreaker for that. I know it's head-to-head first, and then is it second is division record? Is that how it goes?
Yes, it's head-to-head, and then it's so it's overall record is first. If you obviously overall record's first, and then second if you have a tie record, it's the head-to-head matchup.
Okay, right.
And then third is the AFC North, and then it goes. By that time, I don't even remember.
I know there's like 6 or 7 levels to it, but
AFC wins in total, conference wins in total. But
so right now in the division, Baltimore's 2-2, Pittsburgh is 2-0, Cleveland's 2-2, and Cincinnati is 0-2. So that would slide us up top
significantly. And I think, you're looking at teams. Obviously, I think it was Brown Spider on Twitter who put it out as well. I mean, you have a lot of options. We're sitting at 6 right now in the playoff standings, and if a lot of things go right, we win, and a lot of these other teams lose. Essentially, it sounds really easy, but it's like the Jaguars and the Dolphins. If they lose, we could be in second place in the AFC. So it's like it jumped just like that by just got to take care of business. Obviously, we can't keep getting into. We need this team to beat that team, and then whatever. Just keep winning. We'll be fine. We'll be 100% fine. And do I want to win the division? Yes, absolutely, I do. But I really want to get to the playoffs and make a little bit of a run.
Yeah, and I want a home game. I don't care how it has to happen, but I want a home playoff game in Cleveland.
So when's the last time the Browns had a home playoff game? It's been since
before they left. Yeah, so
it's since the 90s, right? Belichick time.
I would imagine 88 or 89.
Yeah, because both of our playoff games since we've been back in 2007, that was in Pittsburgh, and then 20 was in Pittsburgh as well, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we're going to see that. I think again defensively, I just want to ask how amazed and how impressed are you with guys like Obo Okoronkwo? Like he got to bat that ball down. You know what I mean? I think a lot of us were pumped for Greg Newsome for getting it.
Dude, I was so hyped for him.
Interception. when I saw the ball go in midair, I was like,
oh yeah, you knew it was going to get picked. It
You
just a
knew
matter
it
of
was
what was
gonna
going to
get
happen.
Yeah.
you knew it was going to get picked because
Yeah.
I knew it was going to get picked when it went off the helmet of PJ Walker for that Seattle game.
Oh yeah.
Jamal Adams.
Oh yeah.
You
That
know
ball
when
was in
the
the air
ball's
way
going
too
up
long.
that high,
Yep.
the chances your offensive player is going to even see, like, it's slim to none. But when I saw it was Newsom got his first pick, I was just happy. He could have just fell down or wherever. But then when I saw him with a gain of speed, just running, sprinting to the I was like, this is going to be a touchdown.
Yep.
Dude, he wasn't even in the screen.
No.
Yeah.
Dude, he was like
screaming out.
He was full on Usain Bolton tracking that bad boy
Dude,
down.
and he outruns Lamar on the sideline to get to the end
Lamar.
zone too. Yeah, I mean,
You know
that's
what I
not
mean? Like,
a slow
I
player.
think Lamar took a bad angle, but at the same time, still, Lamar's not slow, obviously. So like he can make up for you know a bad throw. But at that point, I think it was 24-31 at that point. So, and they were driving down the field, so it was like that interception turned it into what would have been a tie game. But then I don't even know. But yeah, right. So I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with the defense. We're gonna obviously for sure we're gonna talk about Dustin Hopkins in a second because he's amazing. But
but while we're on defense, we gotta give our boy Myles Garrett his roses.
Yeah. Yeah.
All this chatter, he's never gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. He's not gonna win it. The past few weeks,
he's putting a resume together for it right now.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he's starting to pull away with it. I think he's pulling away.
Away with it.
With a big.
I hate to say it, like I really do, but you have got to because he has a sack in every game except San Francisco and Pittsburgh, right? Because I don't think he had a sack versus Pittsburgh. But with TJ Watt, with getting interceptions and fumble recoveries for a touchdown, all this other stuff, like you've really like to pull away. With the good thing to Miles' advantage is TJ Watt already won DPOY, and I feel like to win back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards, you need to really, you know what I mean? Like you need to really show.
Well, here's the thing, though, is Miles has got him on the fumbles. Miles has got him on sacks right now.
Yeah,
I think he's got him on tackles for loss.
Yeah,
he definitely has him on blocked field goals.
Exactly.
Yeah. That blocked field goal was huge. That's another one. That blocked field goal is huge.
And now you got to think when they're also looking at this, they're also looking at those next gen stats and like block rate percentage. Miles is killing him in triple and double
pressures
blocks.
In general.
Pressures. QB hits. Like they're looking at all that stuff now. They're not looking at just like your big stats, like your NITs or INTs, my bad.
Rush win percentages and all that stuff.
Exactly. They're looking at everything now.
Double team.
Robert Saleh was saying that head coach of the Jets was saying the same thing about Quinnen Williams. People keep talking about the sacks. Quinnen Williams doesn't have that many sacks. But he's like, sacks is not the only thing you could, what it makes it make or break a good defensive lineman. All right, if you have more sacks, that means you get in the backfield a lot. But sometimes you could be pressuring the QB every other play. You know what I mean? I mean, double coverage, sometimes triple coverage, chipped and coming around the corner, coming around the edge. And we see that with Miles all the time. And I think, one of the best things that we see already is that one play, I forget who we were playing, but he was moving sideline to sideline and they were two tight ends over there. Little clips like that showing clearly this is what I'm going through. You know what I mean? No, we don't see that anywhere.
Yeah.
So I agree that I think he's the front runner at this moment. I think he needs to make some noise versus Pittsburgh. I think he needs to make specifically Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because
I'm calling it right now. 2+ sack game from Myles Garrett. I don't know his middle name. But I'm telling you, 2+ sacks against Pittsburgh. Plus, he's going to somehow be in play and help with a turnover, either a block
strip
tip,
sack or
strip sack, tipped,
batted pass.
That's all. Sometimes sometimes that's all it takes for, exactly. Double team, triple team all the time.
Summer's right.
You know what I mean? That is 100% correct. And so I think that's also very true about just all you need to do is just like bat the ball down or a strip sack or a little something against the Steelers specifically. I think that's because when you're going head to head against TJ Watt, it's that sample size for voters or whatever, or people just, Steelers fans in general. Oh, well, every time he goes against TJ, or we're playing the Steelers, he literally does absolutely nothing. And I can't argue that because it's true. Myles Garrett doesn't really get back there. I think the only thing they probably know him for is really that helmet thing with Mike Rodolph. But it's like, I would love what you just said, KFC. Like, I would love a 2-sack game where one of those sacks be a strip sack. I would love it. And that would be just enough that you need to be like, okay, like, all right, this is it.
No, hear me out. It's gonna be in second quarter. I don't know where it's gonna be at though. He's gonna hit the right. He's gonna come off the edge on the right side.
Yeah,
he's gonna beat that rookie from Georgia. Pickett's not even gonna be paying attention. He's gonna hit him hard. He's gonna fumble. Garrett's gonna scoop it up and score.
100%.
We owe Pittsburgh one of those, so I hope it happens because we definitely owe them one.
Honestly, after that little push on that run by Ford, I mean, he picked up about 5 yards on that carry, and then the O-line started pushing. And they kept pushing, and it was like 13 yards.
So sick.
That as soon as Manny was so hyped, he disappeared. When I saw that happen, I looked. I was like, "We're winning this game. I know we're down, but we're winning."
That's the one thing that I think stuck out to me the most with the game. I love the victory. I love the way they hung in there. But I think the thing that stuck out most to me is we out-physicaled one of the most physical teams in the NFL, and we beat them. Like, we beat them down. There are so many big hits and big plays to where it was effort plays that we obviously showed that we wanted those yards more than they wanted to stop us. It was crazy how much I think we out-physicaled them, and that's something that Baltimore's not used to, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. And like when you're going, like all you heard all week was how Baltimore's going to win this game. Baltimore this, Baltimore that. Baltimore's the best team in the league. They're Super Bowl champs already of the AFC.
They said the same stuff before the San Francisco game too. It was the same scenario. No chance in hell to win.
Exactly. They'll never give us our roses. And it pisses me off because this team deserves some credit. I mean, we're starting to get a little attention here and there, but nobody's taking us real serious. They're like, oh, they'll make the playoffs. They might make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm happy they're saying that. I'm happy they're thinking we're at least going to be a playoff team because I think we are too. So,
yeah, for sure. And honestly, I think if we get Watson in the second half going into this Pittsburgh game, I think we win this game pretty handily. Like, if our defense plays the way they did in the second half as well, because, Baltimore didn't convert, but like 1 third down conversion the whole game. Their defense is stout, man.
No, yeah, I mean, it was a couple more than that, I think, but it wasn't many.
Actually converted. I think they converted on got a few first downs because of penalties.
Oh, okay. You mean actually picking up the first down?
Actually.
But and it was so impressive is because of the way they absolutely went through us like Swiss cheese the first game. You can tell Jim Schwartz did his homework and he came up with a game plan that was effective and it kept those players running around like with their hair on fire. And it was so fun to watch. I mean, that defense kept them in the game.
Yeah,
after we got hit in the mouth right out of the gate, being down 14-0 with 3 minutes gone by in the game was unbelievable.
Yeah, and one thing I absolutely loved about this team, they were down 24-9. Just to look at that score, it looks like just like this huge mountain. Yeah, it looks like a blowout. It looks like you're not even going to have a chance to come back. But this team didn't give up. Like David Njoku catching that little catch in the flat, dude. Like right at the line of scrimmage and took it like 15, 16 yards.
Yeah.
Bulldozed his way through grown men.
with all of those yards with grown NFL football players hanging off of him. Yep. He was like
Just
Terminator, dude. He was
yeah,
just carrying people.
he was not going down.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
not going down.
Yep. I think Baltimore took us lightly, man. I think that I think Roquan Smith had them both fired up when they pummeled us the first time. I think Baltimore looked at us as an easy W, and they got hit in the mouth, is what I think what happened. And that probably won't happen to them again because John Harbaugh won't allow that kind of stuff. But I think they took us lightly and they got punched in the face.
Yeah, and a little nugget. Deshaun Watson versus the Ravens as a Cleveland Brown. 2-0. It's pretty
Good
impressive.
stat.
It's a good stat.
That's a good stat.
1-0 versus Lamar as a Cleveland Brown too.
Yeah. Yep. That is true. That is true. I didn't think about that. Probably not a lot of people have thought about that, but yeah, those are the team victories that matter.
Yeah, for
they
sure.
will matter on down the stretch. So
yeah. So, Dave, who has been like just one player that has really just stood out to you, like in the game on Sunday? Like, who was it that you were like, okay, big dog, I see you, like game changer?
Well, I mean, I think there's a bunch of people. I mean, and I'll just get away from the defensive side of the ball and give the offense some props for a change. But David Njoku, number one, for all the great plays he made with the ball in his hands. If people go back and watch that game when he didn't have the ball in his hands, he was laying the lumber, and he was very effective doing things away from the ball. Amari Cooper just continues to be the best route runner in the NFL.
For sure.
He continues to be one of the most clutch receivers in the NFL. When we absolutely need a play, somehow Amari is getting open. So I mean, Amari Cooper and Njoku, the tackle spilling in. Although we did get a little bit beat up, adequately enough to get the W. They got it done. So the tackles would give a shout out from me. And there's plenty of players on defense, but I'll end it there. Those are probably three areas that I would give a pat on the back to.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like you said, Amari Cooper still being that dog. How we got him for a 5th round pick?
Well, one of the it'll go to me. Honestly, this is stupid to me to say this, but this goes down as one of the greater trades in the NFL history. I think
for sure.
Because of the value for what he gives us versus what we gave. I mean, give me another wide receiver trade that is lopsided value wise as that. I don't know if you guys can think of any.
Exactly. And like, just to put this into perspective, I'm not trashing 6, but we traded Baker Mayfield for a 6 or for a 5th.
Yeah.
And then he got cut like week 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
and we didn't have to give Amari new money. He already had a contract. So
he's back.
Alex just threw him in the trash is what they did. And I love it that he is just a staple for our offense and he's a pillar for those guys.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah. So, Manny, who was one guy that really stood out to you in the game versus Baltimore? Just like that guy that you were just like, okay, big dog, I see you. I see you, big dog.
Obviously, Greg Newsom was all over the place. Yeah. And I don't even know if they had – I don't even know. I forget. I saw a stat PFF said that like he had a 5.1 passer rating against him all game. I mean, he was just a stud. But again, JOK had some good tackles in the backfield. Let Lamar slip out of one, but slowed him down. Almost had a tackle for loss.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Emerson, though, I mean, I think he had 6 total tackles. He's all over the place. As a whole, I'm gonna have to pick Greg Newsom. And I think that seeing him get that interception, and not only get the interception but return it for a touchdown, we as Browns fans understand how big of a piece he is. I think one of the announcers, I think it was Jonathan Vilma, even said like he was a no, it wasn't Jonathan Vilma who said it, it was the main announcer, but he was like is backup Greg Newsom. Like Greg Newsom isn't a backup, you know what I mean? Like unless you mean quarterback 2, maybe, but people don't give Greg Newsom the respect Browns fans give him. And so to get his first career interception and then return it for a touchdown, which is going to be national news, right? I mean, to virtually tie up the game. I was so happy for him. I felt like I was a family member. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
he needed that so bad. He needed that so bad because he's been playing really well. He just doesn't have the splash plays to go with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what you need once in a while are some splash plays.
Yeah, to remind people, hey, you know.
You know what I mean? Exactly.
Yeah.
And
This
people
dude's
say,
out here balling, and you better recognize, throw a little respect on his name.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's why I was so pumped for him. That's why he's that he's my pick.
I like it.
So, you know, I'm just really
dude, and he was so
happy.
Fired up too, man. He was so fired up. You could tell at the 4-yard line he was already thinking about his dance and his strut through the
yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, Greg, you gotta know. I wonder what he's gonna do. I wonder what he's gonna do because you know he had about 10 yards to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he knows. So,
and what a pivotal point of the game, too. I mean, it wasn't like it was a blowout and it was like an easy touchdown at the end of the game. I mean, that was such a pivotal moment. And he rose to the occasion. That's a great pick, Manny. Great pick.
I am impressed. If I could give it to the whole, if I could, you know, do it like a cheat kind of thing and like give it to the whole defense, I would. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of the guys on defense, because they had an opportunity. I'm excited for another one Sunday. 100% summer. Like, I'm excited for the defense because they could have had, you know, they had the opportunity to just lay down, right? At 15-0.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was like a Steelers thing all over again.
Yep, here we go again. Yep, everything we were saying is fans.
Yeah, first play. I'm like, man, can we stop with these first play interceptions? Return for a touchdown.
Like, how about Deshaun being the only quarterback in the history of football to have two very first passes of the game go for pick sixes in the same season?
In the same season. Like, you can't make that up. And the crazy
those are scripted plays too. That's what's so disheartening.
Yeah.
Is those 12 plays are scripted.
You know all week that you're going to run that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know what plan B, C, and D are out of that formation and that play because that's your number one play for the game.
And Kyle Hamilton,
he throws it right into Kyle Hamilton's face.
Unbelievable. He's a big safety. He was all over the place. I think he had 14. What did he have? 14 tackles.
Yeah, he is an animal.
14, so 20. Sorry, that was Roquan Smith who got 21 total tackles. My gosh, Kyle Hamilton had 8. But
that just tells you how good we run the ball, though. If he's getting 21 tackles. That's a great indicator.
We were getting up there.
We were.
But again, I hope like the craziest thing is that we could have won, we would have won both games throwing a first play interception for a touchdown. So I'm not if ands and buts or whatever, but
we should have. You're right.
We definitely should have beat Pittsburgh. So that's why I'm not too worried. About this Sunday, but I'm sure we'll talk about that in a moment. But shout out to the defense for not folding and keep fighting.
For sure.
And
can we talk about JOK for a second?
Yeah,
he had a great game.
This dude has just been monstrous all year. Going into Sunday, I don't know if the stat still stands, but he was leading the league in tackles for a loss.
Yeah.
And he added 2 more this Sunday. Had 7 total tackles, a half sack. Got in there on Lamar one time. Yeah. So, I mean, dude's been monstrous this year. I don't think he's getting the national attention that he should be.
I think I know why. It's because he does have some tendencies to where he's out of position on some plays or also over pursuing. And I think that's the only thing holding him back from being considered in that elite, category, because he's just such a freakish athlete, man. He is in the backfield like a safety so fast.
Yeah.
But I think, I remember a couple plays that he has been out of position or over pursued up the field when he should have been setting the edge. But other than that, dude, he's played amazing. Sorry, Christian. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm just going to say this. I think he's a top 10 linebacker.
He should.
You can find me. I think we got to re-sign him when his contract ends. I think we got to bring him back. Got to keep him on.
We have to. I think you're right. I think some of that is he's extremely fast, and I don't know if he's controlled that speed at his size yet. I think that sometimes you can you're so lightning quick, you kind of running a certain way. It almost reminds, not as much as bad as Anthony Schwartz, but it's just like sometimes you gotta control what how quick you're moving. But that's why it makes it so lethal with Lamar Jackson. I mean, he quite literally is kind of one of those guys who neutralized Lamar Jackson by himself. And I think that this defense, it just goes to show you that you're not going to get a lot of easy ones, and it was just a different. I knew it was going to be a little bit different because we had Deshaun starting. But we were on a streak there with three back-to-back games where we were throwing at least 2 interceptions. We were like guaranteeing the other opposing defense 2 interceptions. PTR and PJ Walker, like they were just giving them to you. Just knew there was going to be 2 interceptions somewhere. But so it was so nice to only have either 1 or no interceptions.
Yeah, for sure.
The Cardinals game, but yeah. So question, how did you guys feel? What was your guys feeling about that Dustin Hopkins missed field goal? Like, was it a here we go again? Because we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I do want to talk about the bad in that situation because he came back in a big way, obviously. But go ahead, Dave. What was your first thought?
I get to go first. Okay, so with that extra point that he missed, if you guys remember the extra point he kicked right before then, that thing had leaked so far left and snuck inside the left goalpost.
Yeah,
that I remember talking with Patty, and I said that thing he almost missed that extra point. And the next extra point, exact same end zone, exact same kick, and he ended up missing it left. So in my gut, I was already nervous on that extra point. But like you just said, Manny, that kid right there, I mean, that was a devastating extra point miss. You talking about stuck in we hear the team comes back, we score, we're ready to tie up the Ravens, and then Dustin Hopkins missed that extra point, which I know he had to feel awful for, but that was a huge miss for him to come back like he did and dead center that game winner. He is one of the biggest acquisitions we've had on the team, bar none. And I think I just couldn't be prouder of him, honestly, because that extra point miss was big. I'm sure he felt awful.
No, now think about this. Had we just stuck with Cade York, how would you have felt going into that game or going into that kick?
Oh man,
awful.
And because it goes to show you, truthfully, especially with the kicker position, that fans are so we as fans, we're spot on with this. Like Cade York, quite simply, it's not that he's a bad kicker. He just was shook. And once you're shook as a kicker,
that's it.
Mentally, you just can't get it. And then you read tweets because he's on Twitter. Yeah. It's like he's just done. He was just done. Yeah. And you knew he was just done when he was sent down to the practice squad. We were going to bring him back, just give him some kicking competition. But he said no, went on to Tennessee. And then I think he just got signed to the Giants, I think, or somewhere. He just signed somewhere. But Dave, you touched on a great point. Dustin Hopkins, I don't know if it might be tied with Jim Schwartz acquisition, if you can call that an acquisition. But
I do. Absolutely.
It might be tied as the biggest offseason acquisition in Cleveland football.
And think about what a big statement that is you just made, because Jim Schwartz acquisition was massive. And think about how I agree with you too, Manny. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no. Oh, no. That's a great point. Like we all know how big Jim Schwartz is. Like he's turned this defense into the best defense in the NFL. And I can say that knowing full well people are going to back me up of opposing teams and announcers and pundits and everything.
He himself did that. Yeah,
exactly. You can say the Ravens, you say the 49ers, whatever, but the Cleveland Browns are the best defense in football. And with that being the case, the fact that Dustin Hopkins last minute during the preseason, we were like, Cade York, let's go get, I don't know, Dustin Hopkins.
He just falls into our lap.
Right. He just falls into our lap because the Chargers chose Cameron Dicker.
Yeah, it took the rookie.
You know what I mean? It took the rookie. And Dustin Hopkins, look, I think I'll go to you next, KFC, about what your thoughts about the missed extra point. But I felt bad at myself for being so mad at Dustin about that missed extra point. Because I was like, come on, Manny. Like, he's having a fabulous year.
Oh, yeah.
He's having a killer, like I don't even know what 20.
You couldn't be mad at him.
I can't be mad at
So
him.
Blake,
What's up, Blake? How we doing?
Hey, yo.
He's knocking him down. I think he's 20. No, that's for his career. Yeah. Regular season. But it's just he's knocking him down right now. And so,
hey, Manny, let me ask you guys this real quick. If you take Myles Garrett out of the equation, can Dustin Hopkins be considered like our team MVP player wise this year?
he won us
Is
the
he right
Niners
up
game.
there with anybody else not named Myles Garrett?
He leads the team in points scored.
Yeah. I mean, most kickers are going to, right? I mean, most kickers.
But I mean, his is like leaps and bounds above everybody.
Dude, 750 yarders in a row. I mean, that's Justin Tucker kind of stuff that we're seeing out of this.
He out Justin Tucker.
He is 7 for 7 from 50 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, there was going to be a scenario where we were going to let him kick a 60-yard kick last game. And then we switched it up and we had the offense go out there.
Hey, can we talk about that too, Manny? Didn't you say you talking about the PJ Walker hail into the end zone that came up 15 yards short?
Yeah.
As the announcers were talking about why PJ Walker's in there, because his arm is one of the best in the NFL, and then he has all the time in the world to throw the ball, chucks it up, and it lands on the 20. That play?
Before the throw was underthrown, I thought to myself, I understand why they're doing it, right? I mean, you can get a defensive pass interference at the 10 with 0 seconds left on the clock, and then you have
that is true. That is true.
Or for an easier field goal. That's what I think most teams do.
Okay.
But they just chuck it up there, hope for a defensive pass interference because you don't want to put Dustin Hopkins out there, to kick a 60-yarder.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you guys, but Blake just asked. She said, "What do y'all think my baby's going to be?" The GF literally planned the reveal during the game.
During the game.
All right, we're gonna set some betting odds on this. Okay,
Blake. I mean, your B is in pink, man. I'm gonna go pink, bro.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say a boy plus 300 on that.
Plus 300.
Plus 300. Ooh, strong.
I think it's gonna be
minus 300. Sorry.
Yeah. I knew what you meant, but then I was like, yeah. No, I think it's gonna be a boy. I think it's gonna be a boy, Blake.
There you go.
Okay, and if it's a boy, you gotta name it.
You gotta let us know some names. Either do you have names either for either boy or a girl? That's something I always want to know when people have it.
Name it Miles if it's a boy.
Yeah, right. Miles Ella if it's a girl. So I think, but truly, Dave, you brought up a really good question, which we could probably put and tweet it out. Like, if it's not Myles Garrett, I mean, team MVP would low key have to be.
For sure.
He hasn't been like, good, serviceable,
solid.
Oh, Riker Blake boy. Yeah, that's lit. I like the spelling.
That's dope.
I like the spelling of Riker. Dustin Hopkins was amazing. He's like really Sailor Gray girl.
Solid.
I love the name Sailor. So I don't know. He hasn't been just serviceable. He's been like one of the best kickers in the league. And if my other laptop wouldn't have died, I want to see his stats compared to every other kicker. Because
I know he's only missed 3 field goals. Field goals. And they've all been between 40 and 49 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, okay, after that missed field goal, I was just kind of like, I'm not even scared because, I had confidence in the team. Like, we've rallied back. We're going to win the game. Like, I mean, and, I'm going to give him some chances because he's done some great stuff. Like, I mean, he's kicking crazy. He's probably been the best kicker we've had since Phil Dawson.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it.
Literally, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And
I mean, without him, we would not be where we're at. We're not 6-3 without him.
No,
because he won us the San Fran game, like legit. Like he put up 13 or 12
Yeah, I
of
was
our
gonna say, wasn't he
20
4 for
points.
4? Wasn't he 4 for 4 in that game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Won us the
He-
San Fran game. Like, I mean, it's like obviously won us the Baltimore game. I think you can't say enough about having a kicker who is
Yes, sir.
go-to.
Yeah. He's been insane. Like honestly, when he went out there to kick that field goal, I knew it was going in. But like the Browns fan in me was like, "Oh no, he's going to shank it just because it's the Browns." But the optimistic side of me.
So right now, really quickly, Dustin Hopkins has the most field goals made in the NFL right now at 24. Next up is Greg Zuerlein at 22 and Nick Folk for the Titans at 21. He also has the most field goals attempted, which probably means like 1, we're getting into field goal range.
Yeah.
And 2, we also trust our kicker. So he has the most field goals attempted at 27. The next is Jason Myers in Seattle. And he has the most field goals played and obviously only has 9 games. A lot of these kickers have 10 games. But he doesn't have the best field goal percentage. And obviously, I mean, but at the same time, when you're attempting more field goals than everybody else, you're gonna have a field goal percentage that's not as greatest. But so and he also has the 5th longest kick in the NFL right now at 58 yards. So we were told he doesn't have a leg, but
yeah, I mean, he's been booming.
He's knocking him through. And obviously, like you already said, Christian, he has the best 50-plus range field goal kicking. He's made 7 for 7 out there. Next is Matt Gay in Indianapolis. He's made 7, but he's missed 2. Nobody else has attempted 7. So we really trust our kicker. And it feels good to have one.
Yeah. And, speaking of kicks and kicking, we're going to be kicking somebody's butt this week. It's Steelers week, baby.
Black and gold.
Good
Black
segue.
and gold.
Good segue.
Yeah. So, how are we feeling going into week 11 at 6-3, third in the division, with a chance to move up in the standings? How are we feeling about that, boys?
One word, payback.
Oh.
Well-deserved payback. And Manny, I'll let you go first. I didn't mean to just chime in, but that's the first thing.
No. That's totally okay.
Time, baby.
That's totally okay. I feel great. I think Baltimore was a game that feels good to win because it was Lamar Jackson. But it meant a lot. It did. I think because we beat Baltimore, this game versus Pittsburgh is the second, in my opinion, goes up to second of like the really must wins. And the number 1 of the season was the first time we played Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Just with all those, Monday Night Football curse and how last time we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh in the regular season. It's been forever. And like first time we started 2-0, I think it was 2-0 or something like that. It's been forever. Like I would have loved to win that just to win that. It would have been huge.
Yep.
Nick Chubb has to make a place.
Oh, dude, that place will go nuts, and I'm going to be down there too, just so everybody knows.
I would love him to be on the sideline, but somebody told me that he can't or something like that. I don't understand why he can't.
Yeah, that's what JW said. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, turning a leg or something. He might be there.
Yeah,
well, it might be because he just had surgery. It might be just because he just had surgery.
Right, but it is Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but his knee, like he. I mean, that's some serious stuff.
Yeah, true. He might be having rest. I would have loved for him to be on the sideline. Truthfully, even if he was in a wheelchair and they rolled him out there for a drive and then rolled him back in the locker room, I'd be lit. But
or just do like a little video, like before the game.
A little video, a little something, just wave to everybody. You know, smash the guitar. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying smash the guitar, but I don't think he's
blow it up.
Smashing the guitar.
Put some dynamite on it.
Yeah, blow it up for the locker room. But no, I'm excited for Steelers week. I really am. This is a huge game just because We got to beat Pittsburgh. We back-to-back division wins. Like, it means a lot. 7-3. Everybody's losing to Pittsburgh left and right, and they just keep beating people by like. I watch every game because Carson's a Steelers fan, so she's all I have it always side by side, and I'm just looking at the way they're winning these football games, and I'm simply not impressed. I'm almost to the point of aggravation because the fans know they shouldn't be winning those games. Their fans know
that they're not outgaining anybody. They've not won the yardage game.
The last game they had a great game rushing the ball with 200 plus yards, but they're not. They're not doing anything. Jalen Warren's a great running back. He's very fast, very twitchy, very quick. But at the same time, it's like they're not doing really anything to show that they should be 6-3. So I'm like, we just got to go in there and just treat them like they're not Pittsburgh, beat them like they're another team, and then move on to Denver. That's what I really want from the Browns to finally say, look, 7-3.
Yeah.
This early in the season, it's not like we were in 2020 where like we went on a little winning streak. People know that we're good now midway through the season. So it's like 7-3 looks much better than 6-4. So like it's just we have an opportunity to do it versus Pittsburgh. Again, it's a psychological thing. I do think we win this football game. Because of Nick Chubb and everything, I think they won't allow it, especially it being in Cleveland. It'd be another thing if it was in Pittsburgh. Cleveland, we're going to be so loud.
And one thing I've noticed since the Pittsburgh game is how well Kevin Stefanski, outside of the Baltimore game, week 4, Kevin Stefanski's ability to make adjustments this season has been nothing short of a masterclass. The dude's been in his bag like crazy. And the Fire Stefanski stuff can hit the road. You can just go ahead and toss that in the trash because you can't be saying that stuff anymore.
It has a lot less merit right now. That is for sure.
I think you're muted, Manny. You're muted. Can't hear you.
Sorry. Listen, I completely agree. If Kevin Stefanski gets to the playoffs this year, he's getting extended. I mean, I think that shows you how much faith we have. Depending on how deep we get, I hope we get deep enough. And this is just me talking and ranting. I apologize, but I hope we get deep enough in the playoffs to where we're an attractive location to re-sign for less money, or to have players join this team. Because I hope we get Zadarius Smith back. He's a great compliment. I don't want to change up that defense line too much, but I do believe we need a stud linebacker, to be able to make a trade for somebody or sign somebody in the future to keep this going. So I don't know. What is that?
Buccaneers.
Devin White. Yeah. Oh, Devin White. Oh, yeah. 100%. Devin White is a monster in Tampa Bay. And I would love to have Devin White here. I would absolutely love it. It would be just the kind of icing on the cake that we need. I love Anthony Walker. He's fantastic. But at the same time, if we can get leadership from Devin White, but just, doubly better the player, I'll take it. I will take it. And I think he can kind of teach Sione Taki a little bit as well.
Well, his contract ends too. So if I think our secondary set, because we got nobody to really re-sign in the secondary except Grandel Pitt. Yeah. The defensive line's pretty set except Zadarius. I think we could probably get him come back pretty easy. And
easy.
We make a trade for a guy like Devin White. I think that'd be tough.
If we make a trade for a guy like Devin White and afford that, we can afford a loss of a guy like Mo Hurst or something like that. You know what I mean? We can afford a D lineman loss. Yeah. I would like to keep filling that position. That shows you what happens when you have some help on the D line. When your D line is
Who
so
said
good,
that?
you can bring.
Who said that for the past 2 years?
You've been saying that. You've been saying that over and over. You and Mac have been saying that over and over and over again. But the fact that your D line is so good that you can take Miles out and put him in the linebacker spot, and have him rush from the linebacker spot is insane, because you're going to have to respect 007. You're going to have to respect Zadarius Smith. Now you have Dalvin Tomlinson and Mo Hurst. it's insane. It is an insane defense. And the best part about this, everyone is staying relatively healthy. Like, we're not having any injury bugs, knock on wood, right? Obviously. But like, for the most part on that defensive line, it's not horrible. On the offensive line, we're having some injuries. We're having this, the other, understandable. However, if, we have a quarterback who is gaining confidence, which will in turn kind of make up for that, I think you'll see a lot of more holding penalties as we're moving forward, because Deshaun's going to be super, super confident, and he's going to be running around out there. And so you'll see a couple more holding penalties, but especially with James Hudson. But Nick Harris being a fullback is another huge thing that's been huge.
So you want to hear something kind of crazy?
Yeah.
Okay, last year. Okay, no, I'm gonna say this. Through 9 games, the Browns have 30 sacks.
Yeah.
Through 9 games. Through all 17 games last year, the Browns had 34 sacks.
Wow.
Wow, that's a big stat.
Wow, that's a big stat. That's a big stat.
That's telling. Yeah. Look at that smirk on Christian's face too.
Yeah, we are 100%. We are 100% getting in the backfield. That's for sure. So that's just telling. I think what do you think? I'm gonna ask you guys, what do you think the keys to victory are for Pittsburgh? And I mean, I'll just say one tidbit. I think what we have to do really is score on offense, because they're either score on offense and put it to their really tough defense with Cam Hayward back. So they're pretty much back to full strength.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to either score some points on offense, or we are going to have to do what we should have done versus them in Pittsburgh. We can't just shut them down on offense. We can't just do that where they don't take a snap into the red zone. That's great. You can do that versus any other team, but not versus Pittsburgh. Versus Pittsburgh, you have to create turnovers to give the offensive side of the ball more reps, more chances to be out there to score, or you're just going to have to take matters into your own hands, Myles Garrett, and force a fumble, and somebody has to take it back for a touchdown, because that offense is very, very bad. They had a good game versus Green Bay. Congratulations. But you need to come back and you need to force turnovers. That offense is not good. You have to force turnovers versus Kenny Pickett and put him in a position to keep throwing checkdowns.
Facts, Landon. Talk to him, big dog.
We're not. And the crazy thing is, Steelers fans think we're just talking about them like that because they're Steelers. No, LeBron James.
Statistically.
LeBron James, a whole nother sport, is
friend of the show.
Like a friend of the show. Is making fun of you. You know what I mean? Knowing there's no way you should be winning these football games. So when LeBron James says something, it doesn't matter what sport you're doing, whatever, it's put on blast. Everyone knows the Steelers are not a good football team, but their defense continues to make plays. So you need to limit turnovers on offense, but get turnovers on defense. And you can win this game. I don't care if it's 13 to 6. Just come out with a win. It's ugly. It's defenses, good, great defenses.
Yep. But move on to Denver, like you said.
Move on to Denver.
Yep.
So I got
stacking W's, man. Stacking W's.
That's it.
So I got 3 keys to success to win this game.
Number 1.
Like you said, Manny, win the turnover battle.
Yeah.
Keep the turnovers limited on offense. Key in on them on defense. Number 2, win time of possession. Keep the rock. Run efficiently. Open the holes. It's big obligation for the offensive line, because, Pittsburgh does have a tough D line. It's going to be hard to run. So get the yardage on the ground. Number 3, win passing. Get the ball out quick. Do the short yardage stuff like we were doing against Baltimore in the second half.
Yeah,
very effective.
Yes.
And most importantly, get the ball to David Njoku.
Yeah. He's an angry runner, and I love it. And you're going to have to get these big guys involved early, because with our 2 tackle positions being a little bit unhealthy, TJ Watt's going to come screaming off the edge. And if it isn't TJ Watt, it's going to be Alex Highsmith. We all understand Now, I hope
Oh yeah.
we are fully aware of Alex Highsmith.
Oh yeah.
So, like,
Yep.
I like he is turning into something that's he's turning into, in my opinion,
He's a faster
Joey
James
Porter.
Harrison.
Yeah, exactly. James Harrison-esque
Yeah.
mixture. A
Yeah.
little bit faster.
He's like
than James
LT
Harrison.
and James Harrison just kind of
Exactly.
mushed together.
I'm screaming off that other edge as well.
Yeah.
So
It's not good.
it's not going to be good for James Hudson. And I forgot who we signed, a left tackle who played left tackle yesterday. Starts with a C. I forget his name.
It's
But
some Christians.
something the third. Yeah. Christian the third. So like it would. We're gonna see a lot of probably holding calls. We're gonna see a lot of I think just because they're gonna try to create more time for Deshaun, or Deshaun's gonna try to create more time for himself and running out of the pocket. And you don't know where they're going if you're the tackle. You don't know where your quarterback is, so you're going to have to hold, But anyway, so I completely agree. You're going to have to.
Yeah. What you, Dave?
Keys for success. I think Kenny Pickett is going to accommodate Manny and you, Christian, in winning the turnover battle. I think he's ready to flip the ball into the Browns players' hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I think really it really comes down to, for me, is if our defense, if we can stop the run, Warren, who I called earlier in the year and got blasted for by saying he should be the starting running back on Pittsburgh, has obviously shown that he should be the guy. But if we can stop that run, I think everything else falls into line. I think we're going to score some points. I think, we probably put up 24 points or better. Especially if we can do what your number 2 or 3 point was, Christian, and that's get the ball out quick. And I think this should be another statement win for the Browns, and this will be the indicator for me personally. This win, if we can win this game handily, will be the win that sets the tone for the rest of the season, and could even propel them to get to where I think they can go, which is compete for the Super Bowl. So I'm expecting a handy victory. Where we out physical Pittsburgh and we pay them back for everything. We can't pay them back all the way because they ripped Nick Chubb out of our soul, and I will never forgive them for that. But we need to pay them back substantially to where they know that, hey, we just don't compete here. And I hope to see that Sunday. I'll be down there. Christmas came early last week. We got at Daystar Ford, we got our Thanksgiving dinner for our store. We'll be having some fun tomorrow, and then Sunday at 1:00, I will be down at Brown Stadium, snapping pictures of the early warm-ups and letting you guys know what's going on.
Let's go.
Christmas tree's there, so I'm ready for another Christmas present and Browns W over the Steelers.
Absolutely. Can't wait. I feel it incoming.
Heck yeah. So, before we end this great episode we've had here tonight on this fun Tuesday night, got a new segment. Haven't talked to you guys about it, but it's put this on your parlay.
Oh.
So, what's one thing you guys, if you guys are betting men, for the people that are listening that are going to be putting in some parlays this weekend for the Browns, what is one thing that you're going to tell these boys to hammer down on?
For Cleveland or for the NFL?
Warren under 60 yards rushing.
Okay, take the under.
Yep.
Dave says take the under on.
If you want a parlay that's worth it, that could actually pay you some money, I think that.
Talk that talk, Dave.
Yeah, sorry.
Talk.
George Pickens has been insane. I would love to say, if I weren't a Cleveland Browns fan, so I guess this is just proving that I'm a homer, but like, if I weren't a Cleveland Browns fan, I would smash the button of an anytime touchdown for George Pickens. I think that offense runs through George Pickens.
Yeah.
I think that with him growing in frustration, I think Kenny Pickett realizes that and realizes he should probably start getting him the ball. And George Pickens makes insane catches. So we're going to see some insane catches. We're just going to see some. But I would definitely take a George Pickens anytime touchdown on Sunday. But since I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm going to say something that's probably obvious, probably not. But turnover of some kind. There's guaranteed a turnover of some kind for the Cleveland Brown defense. They're going to get a turnover. They're going to get some kind of fumble, some kind of interception, something. A block kick. They're going to get something in Cleveland.
Okay.
I would smash turnover for that.
Okay. And so I've got three. So Hammer and anytime David Njoku touchdown.
Ooh.
Anytime Najee Harris touchdown. Because if you guys have paid attention, Najee Harris has been getting the ball a little bit more. Been getting more carries, been more effective on the run game. So I think Najee gets 6 this week. And
You think he's looked better than Warren?
he's looked pretty solid these past few weeks. He's had a touchdown in the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I think, or 2. And then depending on where they set Deshaun's passing, go ahead and put him plus 210 passing.
Plus 210. You're going to think you're going to stick in that thing. Okay. All right.
Plus
All
210.
Nice three. Well done.
So I'll be putting that parlay in myself, hoping it hits. And if it does, it'll be all over Down with the Browns Twitter page.
Yeah.
But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. And whatever it is that you got to do on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, subscribe to us there. Follow us on there. Rate us 5 stars.
It costs $0. It costs
Yeah.
absolutely nothing to hit that button. $0.
Yeah.
Like what the Steelers are going to score this week.
Oh, big talk, Dave. Let's go. And as always, go Browns.
Go Browns.
Browns.
Pittsburgh sucks.